On this video, we want to address one of the most commonly asked questions when preparing for a mission expedition, and that is, how should I pack? My suggestion, first of all, is to take the list that was sent to you by email or possibly in your starter kit. I'm not sure exactly how it was sent to you, but take that list out now and begin to look over it. Probably the worst thing that you could do is wait until the night before it's time to leave and make a Walmart run. Number one, you're going to find that you're going to spend a lot more money than you need to because you're going to feel panicky about what you're supposed to pack, and then you're just going to try to pack everything. I've done that many times. I've learned over the years that less is more. So we just want to go over a few things. For those of you, especially who are doing the extreme camping missions, you pack a little differently if you're spending the night in a tent every night than you would if you were spending the night in a hotel. The basics are the same, like your changes of clothes to last throughout the expedition. Take articles you can mix and match. Try to make an outfit last for more than 2 days. I think this is one of the most humbling things that we've learned with our American ways. Is we were with a team one year of Tanzanians, and the question from one of the national pastors or the translators to one of the Americans was, you have a different outfit for every day? That was surprising because you're thinking, I do. And you'll notice they wear their clothes more than once, and you know what? We can too. And the more outfits you bring, the more weight you're going to have in your suitcase, the more you're going to have to keep up with. Try to mix and match your outfits so you do not have to bring 11 outfits. You don't need that many. You will need a nicer outfit for Sunday. Girls, basically you're wearing dresses anyway, so you're probably good to go. But men, you will need to bring a nice shirt and maybe khakis. And if you're preaching, those of you on the team know if you'll be one of the speakers or not. We suggest that you bring a tie for Sunday if you're going to be speaking or preaching. And even guys that aren't preaching, it's nice for you to dress up a little bit more for Sunday. And then, same thing with your shoes. Make them appropriate according to your outfit. Guys, your slacks need to be something that are lightweight. Jeans, you can wear them. They are hot. But many of our men buy the Magellan, I think it's called. They look like fishing pants to me, but they're real lightweight. Sometimes they zip at the knee and to make them into shorts, but they wash easily. You can rinse them out. I know a couple of our guys bring 2 pair of pants for the whole expedition. They just rinse them out and they dry overnight. So that's a great suggestion. Ladies, your dresses will need to go between mid-calf and your ankle. They need to be longer skirts, longer dresses, very modest, nothing tight, nothing V-necked showing cleavage, nothing sleeveless. We want to dress as much like our brothers and sisters in Tanzania as possible. They dress very modestly, and we need to do the same. Walking shoes, make sure they're comfortable. Please don't go buy a new pair of shoes and try them for the first time once you get to Africa. You'll suffer for it. Athletic shoes are great. Just remember, when you're traveling and you're going through airports, almost every airport requires you to take your shoes off to be scanned as you go through customs and security. Whatever shoes you're wearing traveling, make them slip on and slip off so you can get through quickly. Same thing, guys, especially with your belt. You're going to have to take your belt off. You're going to have to take your watch off. Just wear as few of the things that are going to be cumbersome as possible. Sleepwear. If you're doing extreme camping, I know this seems strange that it would get cold in Africa, but in some of the areas we've been in at night, it's pretty cold. So you will need to dress accordingly with your sleepwear, whether you need to bring a little pair of sleep pants or something so you stay warm, that would be great. Of course, socks, all your undergarments, flip-flops or some sandals for your shower time. Sunglasses, if you need those, bring sunglasses. A money belt or a pouch. Women, Kabu bags are awesome. The little shoulder bags of any type. It doesn't have to be Kabu, but any type of shoulder pouch is great because you can fit more than just your passport in it. You can fit your camera. If you bring your phone, which is really probably not necessary, chapstick, your shot record that you need to keep with you, anything in important papers, your money, you can keep that on you at all times. So that guys and girls have to have a satchel of some type that they can keep their passport in and any other valuables that you want to carry throughout the day. You might want to bring a hat because the sun is very hot. It's not like it is here. It's not humid like it is here, but it's very warm, especially when there's no shade. So you'll need to dress accordingly. Lightweight, light colors. I like to wear black, but I wouldn't suggest black in Africa unless absolutely necessary. And also, those of you who will be extreme camping, a lightweight jacket. At night, it does tend to get cool, and so that will not be a bad thing. One year, we traveled to the Ngorongoro crater. I have a hard time saying that. And I slept in sweatpants and a sweatshirt. It was very cold. So, the climate of where we're going, check with us and ask us if we need to bring any warmer clothing. Not during the day anywhere. You won't need anything warm for during the day. Also, the things you'll need for sleeping at night. If you're extreme camping, again, we're staying in a tent. We have several different sizes of tents, but there is not room for a gigantic suitcase, no matter what size tent you're in. We suggest that you pack your stuff, and you're able to get it in your backpack that you'll carry with you at all times. You need just a good, sturdy backpack that you can keep at least one change of clothing in, if not two. I usually put 2 changes of clothes in my backpack while I'm traveling in transit to Africa in case my luggage gets lost. Now, if you can pack your clothes and your belongings in a carry-on and in your backpack, you're in good shape. You won't have to worry about things getting lost. You won't have to worry about your suitcase ending up in London when you're in Africa. You've got everything with you. If you're checking a bag, then you're running that risk. So just pack as light as possible. Many times we take tents with us. We're packing bags for the orphanage many times, but there's just really not space for a large 50-pound suitcase. So if you can if you can pack as light as possible, I promise you'll be glad that you did. And if you're camping, you'll also need to bring a fleece, some type of sleeping bag, lightweight, not very bulky, something that you can wrap up really tightly. While I'm on this subject, let me go backtrack just a minute. With your clothing and anything else that you're packing, I know many people do this with their pillows because they just have to have their pillow. There are vacuum-packed bags that you can buy. I forgot the name of them, but you basically suck all the air out of them and they compact into nothing. You may have a stack this tall. When you vacuum pack it, it just shrinks down to just nothing. It's amazing. It's like a space bag, I think it's called. I use those. They're perfect. You can fit a lot more. Now, weight-wise, you still got to be under a weight limit, but space-wise, you can get your clothing in a very small space, and you can get your pillow, and it looks like airplane pillows, just a little chiclet, okay? So you can squinch that thing down and get it in your luggage. You can do that with almost everything clothing-wise that you're carrying. So I suggest you do that. So your clothing, make sure you have it where you can have changes of outfits with you in case your luggage gets lost. If you're extreme camping, you need your fleece or sleeping bag. If you want to bring a pillow, that's okay. And you need to make sure that you have a blanket or a light jacket in case the weather is cold. I believe I've covered clothing. Now, toiletries. You won't be staying in a hotel if you're extreme camping, except maybe one night on the way in and possibly one night on the way out. All the other times you will be in a tent. You need all your toiletries, shampoo, toothpaste, all that stuff. Deodorant, please. And anything else that you need as far as personal hygiene. Also, you need to bring insect repellent that you can spray on you. I believe 35% DEET is the suggestion that we've always been told, up to 35% DEET in your mosquito repellent. We don't have a whole lot of problems with mosquitoes, honestly. Well, depending on where we are. The areas where we're near water, those that are going to Ucara Island and those that are near Lake Victoria and other bodies of water, it may be a little more susceptible to mosquitoes than others. So make sure that you have some type of mosquito repellent with you. Now, any prescription medication that you are on, you need to make sure that you bring it in your prescription bottle. A lot of people do not. They put it all in one, but the main suggestion is that you keep it in your prescription bottle and you keep it in your pack. So even when you're going through customs, if you're questioned as to what that is, you've got the proof that this is your prescription medicine. Also, basic Tylenol or ibuprofen, I suggest you get a bottle of that. It would be good for you, especially if your sleep patterns are changing. Those of you who are susceptible to motion sickness, as I am, Dramamine is my dear friend. I take it before anything. I take it before we get on a taxi. I take it before we get on a bus, before we get on the plane, especially before we get on a boat if we're going to Ucara Island. If you are prone to motion sickness, buy some. It's a very small little bottle. Keep it in your backpack, and you will not be sorry. Benadryl, for any of you who have allergic reactions, is always a good suggestion. Eye drops, nose drops, for those of you who tend to have dry eyes or have, sinus issues, you might want to do that. Ginger candy, I brought last year. It's supposed to help with nausea. I'm not going to lie, it was not very tasty, but it's supposed to help with nausea. I just stick with Dramamine, but not everybody wants to take that. You can get the non-drowsy Dramamine, but ginger candy is another alternative. Lavender cream, like a lavender scented cream or a lavender oil, is very, very good if you have a tend to get nauseated easily. It just kind of soothes that nauseated feeling. Imodium AD for diarrhea type issues. Hopefully nobody will have that. Lip balm with sunscreen, chapstick is awesome. I don't wear it in the States, but I have 3 or 4 things of it when I go to Africa because the wind, the sun, you'll need something down on your lips. If you have difficulty sleeping or going to sleep when you travel, a lot of people don't have an issue with it here, but when they go on a mission trip, they just have a hard time winding down and going to sleep. We suggest something like Tylenol PM. You're going to be tired. Hopefully you won't have a problem sleeping. I've only taken it once, and some people it doesn't affect you very well. I don't do well with it. It makes me a little bit loopy, but if you can take it, bring it. It'll be good for you if that's going to be necessary for you to feel like you're going to be able to get some sleep. Okay, snacks. This is important. On extreme camping, we bring our cooks with us, and they are incredible, tremendous cooks. You will have plenty of food. Yes, the food is different than what you're probably used to, but there are also many things that they prepare for us that are just like we eat. If you're staying in the hotel, you will have a blessing in the morning. They will fix you a nice breakfast. You'll eat before you go on mission. It'll be fine. But you also can pack snacks to go with you because you might need something. Gum, I suggest, candy. Your translators enjoy it. Trail mix, granola bars, the little Gatorade mix packets that you can put in your bottles of water. They make all kinds now. If you just are not a water drinker, but you have to drink water as you're traveling and you have to drink water as you're on the field every day, bring those things that are little comforts from home, but don't pack a suitcase full of food. You don't need it. If you eat white rice and chicken and bananas and mangoes and oranges, you'll be fine. Plus other yummy things. They fix lots of African specialties that you'll enjoy. But snacks are okay, but you can't fill your suitcase up with snacks, then you'll have no room for anything else. So that is fine. Documents. This is very important. You must have your passport. We will purchase our visas en route. You won't have to take care of that. Keith takes care of that for us. Your immunization record. Everyone should have had their yellow fever shot. That is required to go into Tanzania now. And if you do not have your yellow card, your immunization record, and we're asked for it, and we can't produce it, we'll be fined. You'll be fined. Not me. You, if you don't bring it. If I don't bring mine, I'll get fined. But that will be our own personal responsibility. So you need to be very careful that wherever your passport is, you put your immunization record right there with it. Your airline ticket will be given to you either right before you get to the airport, or if you are in a state or an area where there's no E3 training going on, we'll have that for you. We'll make sure that email you and let you know how you'll receive that. You just know that once it's given to you, it's your responsibility. It's usually in a very bright colored envelope, red, yellow, green, very bright. That's your responsibility. Once it's handed to you, you have to keep up with it, all right? Emergency contact information, you need to have a copy with you, and your team leader needs to have a copy. Credit card information, you need to have that. You need to have it somewhere at home as well if you were to lose your credit card, which you shouldn't because it's going to be in your pack. But you're going through airports, you're using your credit card, it happens. You need to know how to cancel that. You need to have that information somewhere else in case you lose your credit card. And then spending money. We're asked a lot. If you're on extreme missions, we are not going to be near towns probably, but we will take the opportunity sometime during our trip to let you go shopping, souvenir shopping, to a little market, or even in the airports. You're going to pay a lot more in the airport, so I suggest waiting till we go to a market. But $50 is probably enough. You might want to bring $100, but just know the more you bring, the more likely you are to have to keep up with it, and you really just do not need that much. You don't need much money. So that's a good thing. All right, tools that you need to bring with you. Your Bible, any tracts that were sent to you, maybe in your starter kit, your E3, your EvangeCube. You definitely need that. Any discipleship materials that we have sent to you or that we have given you to learn, you make your personal notes on it. You bring it with you. A journal, I suggest strongly that you bring a journal and several pens and pencils. We always need those. If everybody brought a pack of pens, it would be a blessing because we're always needing them. Our nationals need them, and we never have enough, it seems like. You need your backpack. It's always nice to have a family photo because the friends you're meeting, they want to know about your family. They want to see a picture. So if you can produce a little family photo to show them, they would think that was awesome. Several other things you can bring. It should be on the list that you were given. If you're extreme camping, even if you're not, when you're going to Africa, it's always good to have a flashlight, even if you're not camping out in a tent. For travel, if you need a neck pillow, again, it's something that you're going to have to keep up with. If you can't sleep without complete darkness, bring an eye mask if you need to. We love taking pictures of you. If you do that, we'll get some great pictures of you in your eye mask. Earplugs or earphones with an iPod or, if you use your iPhone, which I'm suggesting that you don't because then you've got to keep up with your phone. We've had one phone be misplaced that I know of as we're on a trip. That's a bad feeling to lose your phone. But a little small iPod that you can listen to some encouraging music as you're traveling and some earbuds, I suggest that. That's good. An alarm clock. Again, it's your responsibility to be up in the mornings. Of course, if you're camping with Keith Screws, he has a great alarm clock. He will come shake your tent and make sure you're awake. So you probably won't need that alarm clock, but he's a very lively alarm clock on extreme missions. If you're staying in the hotel, and even if you are extreme camping with us, we still will be staying in a hotel one time or another. It may be the only opportunity you have to really wash your hair well and fix it like you want it to look for the next 5 days. But in the hotels, there are no English American plugs. You have to have a converter. Don't bring your hair dryer, but if you do. I took my curling iron one time and I got laughed out off the team. So anyway, the abuse will come if you bring things to doll up. But I did and paid for it. But if you're going to do that, you're going to have an adapter. So remember that. They won't be supplied for you. Small things like a little sewing kit in case something happens to yours or somebody else's outfits. They need a stitch up real quick, and if you don't use it, it's an awesome gift to give to maybe the cook or one of your friends that you met or a mother. It's kind of a neat gift. Your camera, do bring a camera. Just don't bring your big one that ties around your neck and that costs $5,000. Bring a little handheld camera that you can take pictures without, drawing attention to the camera and to yourself. That's always good. Again, Ziploc bags, grocery bags, bring several of those. Extra batteries, if any of your things run on batteries, you'll be shocked how fast your battery life is gone. If you have stuff with rechargeable batteries, then you've got a bigger challenge. Those extreme campers, we usually have a generator with a power strip, and if you have 25 people on your team, everybody wants one of those plugs to charge their phone, to charge their camera. Just know you're taking a risk of not being able to recharge Usually we have an opportunity one time during the week you can get yours on there, but you may not. So just think through that. My camera has a rechargeable battery. I've always usually had a chance, if I sweet talk and offer candy, to get mine charged, but you may not. So I just want you to be aware of that. You might need, I've never brought one, I wish I had a couple times, a poncho. Those that are going in March, one of my African friends called me this past week. He said, you know now it's rainy season. I've never been there on rainy season, I don't think, but he says the weather can be very, you just never know what's going to happen. It rains a good bit this time of year. In the summer, probably not so much. I'm not the expert on African weather, though, so check the Weather Channel. And another question we're asked a lot is, what about gifts for our translators, for our pastors, and for people that we meet? That's a more complicated issue. We suggest keeping gift giving to a minimum. Really, it works better if we don't do it at all, but we have to. I love giving gifts to my translator, but it needs to be something simple, like a t-shirt. If you're from Alabama, or you're from Texas, or you're from Ohio, wherever you live, they love having the state. You can represent your favorite school in Tanzania, but that's a great gift, a t-shirt, something like that. But keep it simple. I take ties a lot of times for our host pastors, to just give them a little gift for working with us and putting up with us all week. They love that, so that's a lot of fun. Now, remember these few things before you leave. You need to, unless you've got family at home, my family's still at home, they can pick up my mail, but if you don't have somebody at home that can pick up your mail and take care of your things, you need to make sure you take care of that before you leave. Stop in your mail or your newspaper so they don't pile up, and it's obvious to all of your neighborhood that you've been gone for a week or two. Turning your appliances off. Please check and make sure that your medical reforms have been turned in to E3. And anything else that has been asked for you to sign, your pastoral endorsement form, those are always last-minute things that we're begging team members to turn in. I can say that because I'm usually one of them. So turn in your pastoral endorsement form, turn in your medical release form, any other forms that you've been sent to ask to sign, make sure you do that. If you're extreme camping, it's going to be a blast. It's different. My husband was shocked the first time I told him that I was going to go camp out in Africa, because I don't camp out in America. Because I have a hard time believing you're going to camp out in Africa when you won't even do it here. But it's just different, and it's awesome, and it's a lot of fun, but it is a lot different. And it is a little extreme. It's a little uncomfortable at times, but you'll love it. It's a lot of fun. Just remember that you will probably be sharing a tent with someone else. You need to respect their space. I don't think I mentioned this before, so let me mention it here. As far as sleeping, you need a fleece or a lightweight sleeping bag. You also need some type of, not a mattress necessarily. Some people bring a blow-up mattress. Again, you've got to have a generator with a plug that you can plug into, or if it's a handheld one, battery run. But if you can't just sleep on the ground, which most people can't, you can bring a pool float that you can blow up yourself. That's a perfect bed. My daughter and I have used that many times. Just make sure you try it out before you go and make sure it's comfortable, that it's the kind that you need. Many people use the egg crate pads. You can buy them in a lot of, like Walmart or Target, places like that. And you can actually vacuum pack those so they'll shrink down and not take up much room. And then you really don't have to bring that pad back. You're investing $8, $10 in it. You can leave it there, because we have missionaries on the field that continue to camp out like we are, even after we're gone. So it'll be put to good use. So things like that you can compact and pack will make your trip a little more comfortable. Not necessary, but much more comfortable. I'll bring something to sleep on. So I suggest you doing that as well. If you have any other questions, or if there's something that you feel like you need to bring and I haven't addressed, which there probably is, contact us, email us, keith.screws@e3partners.org or beth.holt@e3partners.org. Ask us any question. There's no silly, ridiculous question, because there's a lot to think about and a lot to plan, but we suggest go ahead and start planning now. Make your list or get your list, go over it, buy things a little at a time so you're not waiting till the last night before it's time to go to Africa and trying to pack your bag. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope it's not been too overwhelming. If you have any questions, let us know, and we look forward to seeing you on the field.